Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about that awesome moment that we had at the start of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 5, where we saw that epic backstory of how Sasuke got turned into a tree, and this was a monumental moment that I wanted to talk about as soon as possible, because as a Sasuke fan, the way that Sasuke went out in this chapter, I'm not only okay with it, but I am pleased with it. And I think for the first time in a long time when it comes to Sasuke, I do believe we are in a position where we have something related to Sasuke and Boruto that should not be a cause for any type of concern amongst the fandom. Now, I am recording this video after OP Scans has already published the chapter onto their website. I am waiting for the editor to finish the review for chapter 5, so I'll probably have this video edited myself, because the editing team that normally helps me out with Boruto chapter discussions, they need a few days in order to cook up that high level editing that you've been seeing on some of the Boruto chapter discussions over the last few months. So occasionally you get videos like this that are edited by me. I'm not as good as those said editors, but this is such a big topic. I need to get this out the day after the chapter review because this is huge. But I haven't seen the chatter that has gone on online, but I have seen a few comments, and the few comments that I have seen, they've been mostly positive for how Sasuke's gone out. With Sasuke and Boruto, to say that he's been a bit of a divisive character, that's a bit of an understatement. That time slip arc did the most damage to the character. Ironically, the very arc that Kishimoto himself actually presented to the anime and gave them the script for, with people getting highly pissed off and super emotional every time Sasuke would say, "I'm out of chakra," to a point where it became a meme and people began hating Urashiki every time he popped up in that arc, because just when it looked like Sasuke was going to regain his chakra, Urashiki would show up and say, "What chakra?" before snatching Sasuke's chakra back down to near absolute zero all over again and turned Sasuke from a demigod into a Kiba. It got to a point where I got so tired of seeing all the memes and the ignorant comments, I had to do a video explaining how the out of chakra thing didn't start with Boruto and anyone saying that is being disingenuous, but that it went all the way back to Naruto volume 70, and I had to start throwing out scans and statements in the videos, so anyone who doesn't want to stay willfully ignorant about this out of chakra nonsense, they could at least learn something new. For the moments we had of Sasuke and Naruto ganging up on Fused Momoshiki, Sasuke battling Kinshiki, and Sasuke training Boruto, we were also given humbling moments like Jigen destroying Sasuke's perfect Susanoo with a single kick, Ishiki turning Sasuke into a surfboard, and in the anime they took it a step further. They added an anime original scene, a Sasuke being made into one of those target sheets that you start shooting at the gun range, but instead of pulling out the strap, this man Ishiki pulled out the chakra rods and he lit up Sasuke. It's been a split baby situation with Sasuke, and what I find interesting about his first battle since losing the rinnegan, his first real battle, it ended up being his last battle, and I think it was the right decision. While we never got to see what Naruto could do without Kurama, the idea that we not only saw Sasuke fight Momoshiki despite Sasuke being near death, low on chakra with a damaged eye, but he also goes out like a Spartan 3 years later fighting against Code, fighting him head on with an entire army of Ten Tails Claw Grimes. This was the send-off for Sasuke that we needed. He was taken out of the story after fighting against impossible odds against an even more powerful enemy, and he still managed to give Code that slash over his eye. Maybe it's an off-guard feat. It's probably an off-guard feat. But what I love about this is that the treatment that you give to Sasuke in this moment, that is the treatment you give to a beloved character. If you're going to write them off, either by killing them off or incapacitating them, it has to be done in a way that remains true to the character themselves, and in a way that at least gives fans some closure. For instance, when Kawaki sealed away Naruto, the whole reason why it worked is that we had Boruto's parents, Naruto and Hinata, standing up for Boruto regardless of the situation, where there's a stronger enemy standing in front of them threatening their child. Hinata hit Kawaki with the almighty slap that is fitting of a woman who always puts her love for her loved ones before her own well-being. Some might even call that reckless love. Naruto was still trying to reason with Kawaki, and when it became clear that his son's life was in danger, Naruto tells Kawaki, "If you're gonna kill Boruto, my son, then you're gonna have to kill me first," because Naruto wasn't about to go through that pain that comes from outliving his child, a fear that every parent has. No parent wants to bury their children. They want it to be the other way around. Sasuke getting turned into a tree, it brought out those same emotions in me that I had back in 2008 or 2009 when the chapters for the Pain arc first came out, and we had Kakashi fighting impossible odds against Pain in the manga, and he ended up sacrificing himself to save Choji's life, which is in character for Kakashi, who told us all the way back in the Land of Waves arc he refused to let his comrades die. Multiple times throughout part 2, you see it contrasted with someone like Yamato saying, "I'm not Kakashi. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to let my comrades die. If you die, you die. So what?" Kakashi wasn't cold-hearted like Yamato. This was months after we got the chapters that ripped out our hearts, with Jiraiya dying after facing seemingly impossible odds, and like Kakashi, he died to give the next generation a chance to survive, with Jiraiya leaving a message only Naruto could decode and hope that that information left behind will help Naruto defeat Pain. Sasuke going out of his way to go out in this way was almost able to get those same emotions out of him. I'm man enough to admit that when those Jiraiya and Kakashi chapters came out, I teared up seeing Jiraiya and Kakashi, two of my favorite characters, go out in that way. I came close to crying. I have no problem admitting that. Watching Sasuke in this chapter tell Boruto that he must live at all costs, that he must protect Sasuke's daughter, that Sasuke is entrusting Sarada to Boruto, and then Sasuke heads right into the battle with Code leading the charge against him at the front of the fight itself, with all those claw grinds backing up Code in the process. It filled my heart with that sense of dread that can only be established when you have a beloved character in those impossible odds, and it produces a Weltsmert situation where you begin bargaining with the story you're reading. What if Sasuke did this? Or what if he did that? Or what if he used a Susanoo? What if he used a Materasu? Could Sasuke have won? You start coming up with all these different situations. What if he let Boruto stay with him? You go through all the stages of grief right there on the spot as you're reading, and in the days after you read the chapter, and Kishimoto drafted it where after the initial charging at Code, we don't see exactly what happened. It's left up to our imagination to fill in the blanks for how Sasuke went out, but the aftermath of the situation invokes strong images to point us in the direction of how the fight happened. There was damage done to the battlefield. Some of those claw grinds, they weren't just cut in half. Some of them were missing their entire lower half of their body, which means Sasuke didn't just cut them in half. He destroyed their entire lower body in the process of some kind of jutsu. Entire limbs were being missing from some of them. Arms, legs, tails. Sasuke was even left holding his sword while in that tree, meaning that the whole time that he was going down, Sasuke was going down fighting. And what's craziest about all of this is that you realize he was basically fighting an army of baby Minatos, because those claw rhymes, they have Code's claw mark, which means they have access to a jutsu that has been directly compared to Minato's flying Raijin. They can teleport wherever Code is laying markers. They can pull their target through those markers themselves. They can pull each other through the markers. They can move between the markers on the ground. They can pop out of each other's markers on their body. It was the perfect match for someone like Sasuke, who possesses the Sharingan Eye of Insight, which can predict movements. It can track movements of high-speed individuals, in particular those like this who try to use deception and other trickery. His Sharingan sees chakra as a color, so the moment that they're emerging through those claw marks, he would have been able to see and anticipate what was happening. Sasuke was in an impossible situation to win, and that's what makes this work best of all. That Sasuke knew he was in that impossible situation. He never expected to win. He went out like the second Hokage did, knowing that he was outnumbered by 20 S-rank shinobi in the Ginkaku and Kinkaku force that was led by two pseudo Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Basically, Tobirama fought two Jinchuriki and 20 Akatsuki members since they're all S-rank. Even if you want to say that was just 20 Hidan level fighters, that's still 20 Kage level shinobi with their own unique jutsu and their skill sets that make them deadly. Tobirama went out like a legend in that fight, and Sasuke went out like a legend here. Even though he himself didn't die, that's fine. It was still a beautiful moment for the character. It continues with the parallels that we see Kishimoto do. Naruto gets a power up, Sasuke gets a power up. Naruto loses his power, Sasuke loses his power. Naruto gets taken out of the story by being sealed away, and Sasuke gets taken out of the story by being sealed away via getting turned into a tree. Both are still alive, but they can't escape the situation and are reliant on the others. I love the way that Sasuke went out. I get people want to see more Sasuke here, but I personally think that this is just enough given all the developments we had in the chapter itself. I don't think we needed to see any more of the fight. While I'm sure when 2025 rolls around and production of Boruto's second anime starts up again, which that's not me giving you a definite start date, but I can say with certainty that there are no plans for Boruto's anime to be worked on 2024 because of the abysmal state that Studio Pierrot is in right now. There are obvious signs that they're struggling in Bleach Core 2 for this last season of Bleach. They have been unable to finish the 4 Naruto episodes that are on indefinite hiatus, even though said episodes got worked on back in April and we still couldn't meet the deadline for September, and there's no release date in sight. Pierrot has a lot of issues. Boruto's not coming anytime soon, and honestly it's for the better. 2025 gives the manga a lot of material to build up. No, that's not what some of you guys want to hear. You're gonna have to read the manga, I'm sorry. We'll probably see more of what led to Sasuke getting taken out whenever this does get adapted into the anime. I think that this is a fitting way for him to go out. I'm not gonna be mad if we don't get any more scenes in the anime version of this, because his sacrifice, it wasn't in vain, and it's a wonderful conclusion to his arc that really reminds me of 2 Dragon Ball characters, Tien Shinhan and Piccolo from Dragon Ball, and their links to Goku and Gohan, and how the sacrifices they made for Goku's son hit home that much harder. Which, if you have no idea why I'm mentioning Tien Shinhan in the same sentence with Piccolo when talking about sacrifices for Goku and Gohan, consider it reason number 900 that you're not supposed to skip part 1 of Dragon Ball and just start with Z, because you missed entire character arcs and development that led to exactly what I'm referring to. However, I will say this, if you haven't already, make sure to click here to watch the chapter review.